Welcome to Thursday, the 4th day of September 2025. Your Day Weather podcast brought to you by the Advocates Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, don't face it alone. Get an experienced Wyoming attorney on your side. Free consultations at WyomingAdvocates.com or call 307-800-1952. You deserve an advocate. Well, we've got quite a bit going on. We've got some much colder air heading into the middle part of the nation with the western edges backing up against the front range. We've got this moisture trapped in the southwestern United States, so that's going to lead to more showers and thunderstorms in the desert southwest, the southern Rockies, and the Great Basin. So there'll be a bit of a contrast going on weather-wise across the region. Cold air will really come in out of Canada. It's the second push of cold air with a deep trough over south central Canada. We're going to have quite a bit of wind. For you folks up in the Dakotas, eastern Montana, northeastern Wyoming, parts of Nebraska, as the front goes through, it's going to get pretty darn windy along Interstate 90 in particular. So folks traveling, keep that in mind as the front surges south. That cool air will head westward, push up against the Continental Divide. So that will lead to much cooler temperatures. There'll be a little bit of shower activity along the frontal boundary, but not a lot of it. Where the moisture is going to be more abundant will be along and west of the divide, as we've shown you here over the last couple of days. Now, there will be a pivoting of that moisture in the southwestern United States coming back east-northeastward. It'll come through the central Rockies and High Plains, especially between Sunday and into Monday and Tuesday. And that'll bring some scattered showers and thunderstorms to the points in east. And then next week, mid to late next week, and into the weekend after this one, we're going to see a Pacific trough kind of settle into the Great Basin and really not go anywhere, kind of spinning around for a little bit. And that will produce a little bit of weather for the far western areas of the United States. So we've got some contrast again, a little bit of a smoky haze with sunset activity around the Douglas, Wyoming area yesterday. Then with that first surge of cooler air getting into the northern plains, it did back up, producing some low clouds and fog up into the Black Hills area. We may see that again in some areas with this next cool surge out of Canada. The satellite image this morning, couple of highlights. Lorena, Hurricane Lorena right there, kind of falling apart coming into the Baja. It's about done in terms of being a hurricane, but it is going to be curving up this way. Here's that moisture trapped underneath the ridge, and low clouds here along that first surge of cooler air with that first cold air surge. And if we look at the water vapor, you can see the swirl of that upper level low in south central Canada a lot better. So we kind of have two separate features. This trough right here, the high pressure ridge, and the trapping of the subtropical moisture, then the remnants of the hurricane down there off the Baja. So kind of two different systems working together. And as we look at where we're going to be by noon today, you see that deep low over south central Canada. And let's follow the jet stream. Big ridge builds up, and then it's diving in. And right here, you can see the close packing of the gradient. So there's a strong jet stream wind coming on the backside of that, helping to drive the cooler air south, and that's where the wind is going to be today. So if we look at where we're going to be with temperature anomalies by noon today, we showed you those low clouds on the satellite imagery with that leading edge of the cool air right there. So it's going to stay relatively mild up through about the noon hour, but you can see where the frontal boundary wants to be. When we go forward by tomorrow at noontime, we basically see the same setup. Things haven't changed very much other than this is pushing a little bit further south now, and there's the cold air. By noon tomorrow, temperatures will be more than 20 to 30 degrees below the seasonal averages in this strip right here. This will be because of low clouds, some rain showers, and just the leading edge of the deeper, cooler air. That spreads east Saturday and Sunday a little bit further east. So another shot of autumn-like weather for the central and eastern areas of the United States. Also, you'll see the coolness back here due to clouds, showers, and thunderstorms in the southwestern United States. We talked about wind. Well, these are the predicted peak wind gusts between now and Friday. So you can see across North and South Dakota, hold on, it's pretty windy as that front comes through, but you can also see eastern Montana, northern and northeastern Wyoming, northern Nebraska. you're going to be pretty brisk with those strong north to northwest winds pushing into the area here over the next 48 hours. Those green areas for Arizona and the deserts of California, those are flood watches. And those flood watches are in effect because of the deeper subtropical moisture that's trapped underneath the ridge today. And for today, you can see a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity over Arizona and parts of Southern California, getting into southwest Utah, where that moisture is trapped. The heavier thunderstorm threat closer to the remnants of the hurricane coming on in. So there could be some heavy rainfall down in those southwestern parts of the United States today and into tomorrow. This is Friday. Look at that contrast Friday between the dry air, between the cold front, and the moisture west of the divide. And it's going to be kind of a standstill as we get into the weekend. Those are your thunderstorm chances on Friday underneath that deeper moisture. Saturday, still kind of a standoff between air masses. So thunderstorms will then still stay in the same areas. On Sunday, though, if you notice, there's that northeastward shift of the moisture Sunday. So Sunday, thunderstorm activity will increase in western Wyoming, northwest Colorado, into western areas of Montana as that cooler, drier air retreats more towards the Great Lakes. So you're going to get into showers and thunderstorms along and west of the divide a little bit more abundantly. A little bit Saturday, but certainly by Sunday and into Monday. And there's your thunderstorm forecast Saturday. Sunday, you can see that shift. So thunderstorms Sunday, that activity will go more to the north and east as this current pattern cycles its way through and cycles itself out. And there you can see Lorena is going to be becoming a tropical storm, then a depression, and it's going to bring very heavy rain to Mexico. And you can see it's just getting up to the border. And we might see this heavier rain get extended a little bit further north and east into those areas here and also back up into here. Then next week, we have this next trough coming in. Now notice things shift around a little bit. We do not have the deep trough here. We have a bit of a trough, but we don't have the deep trough in the central and the east anymore. So this will allow this next trough in the Pacific Northwest to settle into the Great Basin, but it's going to run into this high. And we don't have much of a ridge up here to drive it inland. So what it will do for a good part of next week, really Wednesday through Sunday, from this upcoming Wednesday through the following Sunday after this one, it's just going to hang around. So that's Wednesday of next week, that's Sunday of next week. So with that system hanging around, it's going to generally be cool. Showers in the Pacific Northwest, showers in the Great Basin, showers along and west of the divide, which they need. You're going to also get shower and thunderstorm activity out ahead of this low at times, and that's also going to bring southwest flow. So what this will do is the southwest flow will keep temperatures September mild, let's call it, maybe a little bit warmer than average east of the low because of the southwest flow, but clouds and occasional showers and thunderstorms will come out. This isn't a terribly cold pattern. It's cooler, cloudier, and occasionally damp. So the second half of next week and next weekend, shower activity will be fairly common in the western half of the U.S. Here's our next concern when it comes to a hurricane. This one needs to be watched in the later periods. About 2 weeks from now, it could threaten the Florida coast. We'll just have to keep an eye on that. And that's certainly a sign when we get into later September, closer to October, when you start to see these hurricanes forming and getting and maybe tracking towards the East Coast areas, that usually means you're going to have some type of change back to colder weather in the West. And we're kind of seeing hints of that, although I think it's going to be between the 20th and the 30th of September before that happens. So next week's weather, a little bit unsettled in the West. Have yourself a great Thursday. More for you on Friday.